Hey, this is Kat Carasello. It is Moon Month in May, and I just wanted to connect again and talk a little bit about how communing with the moon became such a strong part of my creative process and why I created Moon Circles as a template, as a system. The three original moon cards are the luminous double-sided moon, the star card, and the night compass. And these are cards intended to hold specific energies. As the moon circles work has developed, I have brought in new energies. The full moon was the very first, and it was the full moon that drew me to her through ancestral connection. I actually did a lot of work around my lineage at a time in my life that I was exploring my stories. And because I was an adopted child, I really did a great deal of intuitive work, and I moved towards the moon and worked with the moon goddess, Bridget. And that was an initiatory entering in to meet the moon, to delve deeply into the night energy and how I could connect back to my ancestral lineage and know more about myself. So the full moon brought me to that awareness. But the new moon, the dark moon, actually intrigued and inspired a great deal of my inner work because the dark moon became a reflection of going inside my life to mine my stories and understand more of my soul's knowing when I didn't have the data or the information to feed, the family tree. And that ancestral work that I was doing actually really developed around the moon, around the cycles of the moon and the cycles of life, and the moon as the ultimate witness. So the moon really inspired this kind of deep listening and inner awareness that I came to know as journey work and depth work. And it's the Jungian depth that really inspires so much of what is offered in Journey Path Institute. Depth psychology and soul work are close cousins. Depth work and journey work are close cousins. The way that we're inspired by symbols that are held in the natural world and the potential of archetypal awareness and symbolic points of reference and our own sourcing with our stories are all interrelated. And so one will lead to the other, and awareness will surface. And we often will find that a lot of that is happening through the imaginal or through the musing energy. And when it's translated into images, when we can actually place and find and start to create with images and words that are held within a sacred space, this moon card becomes a mirror. So the idea that we're using our own art as a reflective surface to speak to a story that lives within our life is incredibly compelling. This is transformational work. This is soul work. This is expressive art. This is art as process. This is developing your own techniques and tools to guide your life. And if you want to expand into the professional world and hold circles, or you already do that, then the beautiful thing about moon circles, these simple cards, is they're already designed to actually inspire this work and take it further. So for those of you who are thinking about what's coming up in the moon month with the moon circles training, there are three new beautiful card types that are being introduced for your personal work and your professional work. Because Moon Circles training, and there are 250 of us Moon Circles facilitators who every time there's a new live training or some added materials, we all get to go through the whole training again and expand, the connections that are already living within us. So these new moon cards, we have the crescent energy in this double-sided botanical moon card. We have the brilliant archetypal energy held within the Oracle She card. And then the mini moon holds the dark and the light, similarly to the original moon card, but it comes in as a more diminutive space, almost actually complementing and sort of dwelling within the potential of the nested cards. So we can, come in and start to see, oh, these all nest and they cross-pollinate and they constellate. So what happens if our images start to constellate and we are telling stories through a constellated image-based energetic container that you create for yourself. So what happens when stories commingle, when words start to constellate, when you become aware of where and how your stories are interconnected? And we do that with the moon. That's the brilliance of moon work and extended moon work. The idea is that moon is a mirror. I actually had a beautiful jeweler, Diana, if you're watching, create this brilliant moon locket for me. And the moon opens and it has some topaz in it, but the moon opens and holds a mirror. So this is a talisman. This is an amulet that really, holds the energy of the moon, all of her faces being kin and connected to all of your faces and phases of life. And all of the stories that she witnesses, you get to witness. So when we work with these brilliant templates of the Moon Circles cards and the family of cards that are now, beautiful extended Moon Circles cards that you can use in all kinds of brilliant and beautiful ways. These are some of the tools, but the techniques that we move through and the way that we use the narrative storytelling and creative depth approach to actually develop some of our own distinctive ways with these moon circles becomes your moon work. So I really love that my own experience has led me to developing these tools that become our experiential tools, that the tools and techniques that sort of arrived through opening my own channels of awareness and my own connection to these natural elements in the world, but the mythic being such a strong component of my own work, the ancestral lineage work and the mythic moon and the goddess guides. These are all actually developed and part of the training. So the training becomes a body of work. And that's really what I think serves us the most when it comes to our own depth and discovery, is that we're creating our own body of work, that we do not deny ourselves. We lean in and actually bring in the language of our own wisdom to process. And I hope that you will join me, because we're in the last days of our moon month. So we're in the last days of savings for the Moon Circles training. And our very first call for the new training is on June 1st. So these are the last days to join. And I hope that just seeing and sharing some of my stories and some of the impetus for why the Moon Circles actually happened, that it's personal, deeply personal work, personal connection, personal inquiry that leads us to the discovery and the development of whatever is coming for you, through you, for you. And maybe Moon Circles is part of your life and you want to join. The other thing I want to say is there's a two payment plan available. So, with the $100 off and the two pay plan being only available until midnight on the 31st, that leaves the last few days to come and play with us. And knowing that the classroom is already open, that people are there are 250 of us sort of already trained. And then the new people that are coming in now get to benefit from some of us who've been doing this work for a long time. All of the chat and the forums and the shared materials are there from many, many years. And so you get to benefit from everything that's come before and everything that's happening brand new. And this continues on, of course, in our alumni group and our facilitator forum. And so it really is a family. And I invite you to become a Moon Circles facilitator and join us and do it for you first and your vision and the potential of how to bring it out in the world or bring it to your circles that you already lead. That will come. That's a natural second to always you get to do your work first. Expand your field and more will come.